what I want to say every time that goes off the screen. Good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. You know what I say. I'm sure if you guys could talk back to me, you would say the exact same thing. What would you say? It's Chrissy's favorite day of the week. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope that all of you have started off the day magnificently and are in a great mood. If not, what? We're going to help you with that mood tonight. Welcome, as we always say, for being here. I want to send some love and some shouts before we get into our show and everything that we normally do. I want to send some love to all of you amazing people who were on the show last week. I had a lot of people. Hello, Christine, I see you, who were on the screen, and you guys were livid. You guys, hello, Ramon, were super supportive of me and concerned for the threats that I received. I want you all to know that police reports were filed. The situation is being handled, but I appreciate all of you for loving on me and making sure that I'm okay. So just so you know, the situation is being handled. I feel great about it. I do not feel scared, worried, or bothered. So thank you all for being so supportive, because you always are. Esther Alvarez, I see you, my love. As always, we want to remind you why we're here. We are here in support of those who are victims or survivors of domestic violence. If someone you know, someone you come across, it could actually be a foe as well, is dealing with domestic violence, do not let them deal with it alone. Reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. See the number scrolling across the bottom of the screen, 1-800-799-7233. You can reach us at all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, lo que sea. You can also reach us at our website at loveshouldnothurt.com. If you need immediate attention and we are not getting back to you within 24 hours, always remember to contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. If you're in imminent danger, dial 911. Order that pizza. The person on the other line is trained and they will know what to say to help you get through that evening. So happy Tuesday, folks. Hope all of you are great. Before we get into the show, some announcements, because ya el tiempo está acercando. Our 5K is May 14th, not this Saturday, but next at Edison High School track. Listen, grab your family members, your friends, your co-workers, get yourself a group and join us in Philly at Edison High School. We will be there from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have DJ Paulie on the ones and twos, motivating you guys, listening to some amazing music to keep you hyper and going. We have vendor tables. We have things that are there for the kids. It is going to be a great time. But all in all, remember, we are there for a purpose and a reason. If you are interested in having your loved one displayed at our walk, please, please, please send me your photos of any family members that you know that you have lost due to domestic violence. We want to post all of their photos around the track as a reminder to everyone who is walking or running why we are there. So please, 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 Christina at loveshouldnothurt.com. Send me those pictures. I've only received about 7, but I know there's a lot of you out there. So send me those photos so that we can celebrate your loved one in the best way possible. And join us on May 14th. This is an exciting day for me because you know what? When we talk about domestic violence and we talk about healing, the first thing we think of is counseling and therapy and just WUSA and like women's groups and so many different things. But there's so many different ways that people feel they can find their healing. And tonight we have a beautiful young woman with us. I say young because we're all young. I don't care how old we are. We're young. I have a beautiful young woman joining me tonight who is a holistic healer. And she is going to talk to us tonight about what she does, why it's beneficial to our victims and survivors, and why it's something that you should look into. So tonight we are talking about holistic healing. If you are watching, I'm sure you have heard of this at some point in your little walks of life, whether it's through TV, whether it's through books, magazines, social media. Holistic healing is something that we have all heard about. So tonight we're going to have the amazing Crystal Vargas join us on the screen, and she's going to talk to us about different ways that we can do this on our own, different ways her and her organization can help you do that, and what holistic healing is. So let's bring Crystal onto the screen to join us tonight. Hello,
Hello.
beautiful.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you feeling today?
Feeling wonderful. So excited to be here. It's an honor.
Amazing. I see you're in your Zen space, the little
I
light
am.
behind you.
I am. This is
Crystal,
actually
for
Beauty Balance's headquarters here.
oh, well, there you go. So listen, for people who know nothing about you, because I'm sure you have supporters who are watching, but people who don't, tell us about Crystal. Who is Crystal?
Well, Crystal is a 36-year-old mother of three beautiful children. I am from Philadelphia, born and raised, currently living out in New Jersey, but big supporter of Philadelphia still, and anything that Philly has going on, I'm standing behind it. I started my company, Beautifully Balanced, in 2020, May of 2020. So it's reaching its 2-year anniversary. So I'm super excited about that, and excited to just keep spreading love and light everywhere.
Amazing. You have such a positive energy. I like that. I like that. You know, people come on sometimes and they're like very ansiosa and anxious, but you're like cool, calm, laid back. So it shows what you do is something that's, good for you. It works. So what I saw
Absolutely.
online, because I always like to look in advance, was holistic healing is focusing on the person as a whole instead of focusing on a specific condition. So like mind, body, and
Mhm.
soul. Tell me what
Yes.
holistic healing is.
So holistic healing can be any form of natural healing. You have meditation guides, which I am certified. I'm a certified meditation guide. You have Reiki healing. I am also a certified Reiki master. Um, Natural herbs, things that anything that consists of just pure natural healing. A lot of people who do holistic healing also work with crystals. So by no surprise, I am Crystal with the crystals. It's just, it's basically, and holistic healing actually has been around for centuries,
Mhm.
way back before there were doctors, way back before there was medicine. People would use the art of using crystals, energy healing to heal, whether it was sickness, whether it was not physically ill, but also emotional sickness, depression,
Mhm.
anxiety. So it's always been around. It's always been around. It's less talked about, with the current generations, obviously. But there are the few people that are walking this earth that are here to keep bringing it forward, because it's important, I think, for everybody to know about holistic healing.
Awesome. How did you get into this?
So, about 6 years ago, I was 5 months pregnant when I had lost a baby girl. And I went through a very bad depression,
Mhm.
and that caused me to start suffering from anxiety.
Mhm.
And one of my best friends had gifted me a beautiful amethyst crystal. And she had already had her love for crystals. It was the first time that I had ever been gifted a crystal. I knew
Mhm.
about crystals, and their what they did, and their healing properties. But it wasn't until she gifted it to me that it became literally a part of my life. I had tried therapy, I tried medication, and it just wasn't for me. It's not for everybody. Medication is just sometimes not for everybody. And it wasn't for me. So when I started looking into the crystals more and more, and realizing how much comfort it had brought me, it just became just something that I just wanted to learn more and more about. And I started getting into meditation after that. Just learning about the crystals, it just opens up a whole door to this holistic life, right? So
Mhm.
that's how it all started. And back in 2020, I had went through some situation with an old employer, where I was discriminated because of my race and my sex.
Mm.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, let go, because everything happens for a reason. And
Yeah.
it just I took that and turned it into, I'm not gonna stress about this. I'm just gonna do what I think I've been here to do this whole time, and that was getting into this holistic healing full throttle. So that it took that
Mm.
opportunity, and that's what made me just jump on in and do it.
Amazing. So you said Reiki,
Reiki,
Reiki
yep, Reiki.
meditation,
Mhm.
Reiki.
Meditation,
Would
yep.
would yoga be considered that or no?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yoga is definitely a form of holistic healing. And there's different types of yogas out there, but there are specific yogas that work with you to help open up your chakras, which is kind of, it all kind of, just ties in together.
Oh, that's awesome. This is absolutely a subject that I've never ever thought of. And I
Yeah.
guess in that sense, because I've thought of yoga, right? Everybody knows what yoga is when you're thinking of exercising and stuff. But whenever you think of healing, from especially things like domestic violence or sexual abuse and things like that, the only thing people normally think of, especially because one of the things that happen are PTSD and anxiety and depression and things like that,
Mhm.
people always think about therapy. That's the only thing they think of. Therapy or medicate me.
Mhm.
Give me some drugs, make me feel better. I'm gonna forget
Right.
about it. They don't
Mhm.
think of natural ways to make themselves feel calm or feel better about those situations. So learning about holistic healing, I thought was something that was interesting for people who are watching because it's not something that you naturally would think of. Hello, Roz, I see you. So that's awesome. What are ways that you think that so we know what domestic violence is, right? We've lived through it, or we know someone who's lived through it, or who has, we've seen it on the TV. What are ways that you think the domestic violence victims would benefit from holistic healing?
Well, for starters, the word healing itself, right? Like you said, we automatically um the first thing we think of is like therapy, right? And it is this is all of these are forms of therapy. Um where the difference is we're not just working on just our minds, we're digging in deeper, right? We have to when it comes to things like trauma, which obviously is a big part of domestic violence, living with the
Mhm.
trauma that after the aftermath or going while you're going through it. The healing has to start within first before it can start anywhere else. And through that, and a part of that with meditation, because I also do, group, I do group retreats for women for healing, women retreats
Mhm.
for healing. And a part of it is one, introducing this life to people so that they can find the balance, right?
Mhm.
You have to find the balance. And a part of the healing within, it's going to allow you to bring out sides of you and also bring out the trauma that you've gone through, because we can't heal we in the forefront. It's there, we recognize it. um, at some point we have to accept it, right? And that's when it all starts. That's where all the healing starts. Learning how to channel all of the emotions that we hold in, all of the pain, and living through it, getting through it. And then you can start focusing on the mind, body, and soul. You have to be aligned in all three in order for you to have that balance in life. And what happens when we go through trauma is that we start to block some of our chakras, right? And if I can get into a little bit about chakras, for those who don't know, our bodies are made up of seven, technically eight chakras, but the ones that everyone knows of are the seven chakras. And our chakras are basically the energy points in our body. So we have the crown chakra, we have the third eye chakra, the throat chakra, heart chakra, sacral chakra, solar plex chakra, sacral chakra, and then your root chakra. Now, for someone who has experienced domestic violence, most likely your solar plex chakra is blocked. This would be your self esteem, right? Your heart chakra is most likely going to be blocked. That's going to be your love, self love, whether it's receiving love, giving love. Traumas will do this to you. It'll purposely force your chakras to be blocked. And it's our job to learn ways to open them back up so that at some point or another, once we're done healing, we are receptive to receiving love again. We're there again. We're open to it, to receiving and giving the love that our traumas blocked. So it's important for people who have gone through trauma and any kind of trauma to learn their body, mind, body, and soul. Channel all of that energies that you have, and learn how to balance it all out. It's basically all it is.
Wow. So I'm sure there's people watching that are probably like, whoa, because they've never thought of this. They've
Mhm.
never thought of holistic healing because the basic thing that people know the most primary is like, let's go to the doctors. Let's try to
Right,
fix me at a doctor. If
right.
I'm sick or if I feel depressed, let's go to a doctor. No one
Hmm.
thinks of this form of therapy, which is wild to me because I know a lot of people who say that meditation makes them feel so much better. They
Hmm.
say, I can't go to a doctor, I can't go to a therapist. Whenever I go through, my trauma, I just want to go home. I want to meditate. I want to try to make myself feel better. I want to have, you're right, and I they're different forms. And I think that that's important because, my show every week we talk about so many different things, right? So we try our best to bring different things. And I hope that this is interesting for folks tonight because holistic healing is something that you can do in so many things. I'll go back
Absolutely.
to that comment. You can be it can be used for so many different things. And because we deal with domestic violence primarily, the
Mm-hmm.
trauma is constantly there,
Yep.
expected to be forgotten. So I saw that Yolanda put a comment there, and I was reading it to make sure that we were paying attention to everything going on. But holistic healing is something that I think I've always wanted to know more about. When I would hear about it, I'm like, what is
Hmm.
that? What does
Hmm.
she do? I started to follow
Hmm.
your page. I started to see what it is that you do. And my daughter, I told you this before,
Hmm.
she recently in the past year or so has gotten into crystals and she
Hmm.
loves it. This is something she is fascinated by. When I come into the room, she's like, Mom, your aura is off. I don't touch my crystals. And I'm like, excuse me. Hello, Ellie, welcome. She's like, your aura's off. Don't touch my crystals. It's gonna make it negative. And I'm like, excuse
Hmm.
me. So it's different for me to hear it and to kind of hear your perspective on it, which is interesting. I see Ellie, Joanna, thank you everyone. And yes, Joanna says self-care. Obviously, that is a part of
Absolutely.
self-care,
And
right?
that's the biggest part about it. Self-love, self-care. And this is what I teach my students every time. You we can fall in love over and over and over in life, right? We can find somebody that we want to spend the quote unquote the rest of our lives with. But the truth of the matter is that even with someone that you've been with 30 plus years, that person or you are going to go one or the other before each other. So ultimately, we still have ourselves that we end up with in the end.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if you don't love yourself, if you're not there with you're your own best friend, right? You have to be okay with the person in the mirror. You have to be okay with who you are as a whole before you can give any other love or energy to anyone else. Like my cup runneth over,
Yeah.
right? You cannot pour into someone else's cup if you're not whole yourself.
Yeah.
It's much of yourself. And what happens is that when a person, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, when that other person leaves, you feel like a whole or like you're not complete. And it's because you were just never whole to begin with. Now, if we learn to love ourselves and become whole with ourselves, who comes and goes in our life is never going to affect us that much. I mean, we'll go through the motions because we're human, right?
Hmm.
But you don't feel that void, right? You just miss the presence of whoever that person is because ultimately you still have yourself. And that's the one that you have to love the most.
Hmm.
And I think it's so important, especially for people who have suffered any kind of trauma, especially victims of domestic violence, to love themselves as a whole. And
Hmm.
even if there's trauma there, I saw someone had mentioned, you have to face the trauma, right? You have to know that the trauma's there, right? In order for you to get that person back, because no one's lost it. No one's lost it. No matter what we've gone through in life, we still have the ability to pick ourselves back up and make ourselves whole again, right? It just
Right.
takes some work. It just takes some work.
Hmm. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. You give
Yeah.
me the feelsies, right? Everyone's on here feeling the love from you, which Yolanda says absolutely. Facts once facts on once you love yourself are in tune with yourself and worth and energy you realize. You don't lose people, people lose you.
Abs-
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, I think I lost you.
Hey guys, so
So,
while Chrissy is, I'm sorry about that, Crystal. While Chrissy is coming back
it's
on,
okay.
so so I have a quick little video, and I wanted to see what you think about this short video that I just saw on TikTok. So I don't know if you ever watched the show, but me and Chrissy are big on TikTok, and we love to like just basically snoop around and check out videos. So I'm gonna put one on, and then you tell me what you think if this is your life when you see your this video.
Sure.
C'è la luna, mezzo mare, mamma mia, mi maradare. Figli mia, cutterare, mamma mia, pensaccia tu. Se te non ne pisciaolo, ite va, ite viene sempre baccalare del mano bene. Se ci picchia fantasia, baccalare, figli mia. Oh mamma, la 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 la. Oh mamma, la 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 la.
Oh, that's
You
good.
tell me. You tell me. Did that give a little bit of Crystal in
Oh, it
there?
gave a lot.
Yeah.
That was
So
too funny.
what
I
part did you notice that you were like, oh my god? I saw you laughing a lot, so that's why I'm like, hmm.
Yeah. Well, as soon as it started with the plants, it was it for me. Um, yes, I have plants all over my house because um, the it help plants help actually with stress relief. A lot of people don't know that if you are suffering from depression, anxiety, you can actually sit in a room full of plants, and that is the equivalent of you taking some kind of like medication for it. To sit in a room with plants, it's just something about, you know, the oxygen that they're letting off. They just let off these natural toxins that kind of like release everything. The juicer, the organic fruits. The definitely I have plants in my shower, so that was pretty funny. Essential oils, absolutely. The crystals, 100%. I have them
Everywhere
everywhere.
around the house.
I didn't everywhere around the house. I didn't see sage in there, but that's big. Anyone who's into holistic healing will have sage in their house as well.
Cool.
Candles that have crystals and herbs and stuff in it. So yeah, that basically describes the life of a holistic person.
So that's actually so we're the actual video was pinpoint then I guess.
It was, yeah, it really was.
So it was a pleasure coming on real quick, and I see that now our host is back. So I want to put on Chrissy back
Awesome.
on. All right.
All right, not a problem.
Listen, people. Eso es lo que pasa cuando uno está en vivo. Se me fue el señal. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I am at a different location today and we were having some technical difficulties, but Crystal was talking to Ray. She's good. That's what we got them here for. So I'm back. I apologize. Ellie, I'm back. I'm back, Ellie. So we're at our 25 mark. When we come back from our brief intermission, I want us to talk about what you know about domestic violence and maybe some instances that you may have either interacted with other people with domestic violence or know of. So, folks, it is that mark. It is that time of the evening that we always do. Best time to do it since I was MIA and had to pop back in. As you always know, at the half mark, we remind folks why we are here. If you or someone that you know is dealing with domestic violence, whether it's a friend, a family member, or even a foe, it just takes 2 seconds to give them the number to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800 799-7233. You can reach us at loveshouldnothurt.com and all of our social media platforms. If we are unable to return your message within 24 hours, please, please, please make sure that you are hitting up that hotline. And I also want to remind folks that we have an amazing lady who is watching right now, the executive director of Women Against Abuse. Please use them as a primary resource. If you guys need any help from the domestic violence hotline, call the Philadelphia hotline. Women Against Abuse is there to offer services for all of you who are in need of immediate attention and help. And of course, if you are in imminent danger, contact 911. So, Crystal, I've been having you follow me for a little bit, and we've been going back and forth, and I've been looking at your page. Tell me, what are your experiences with domestic violence? What attracted you or drew you to my page?
Well, I had heard about you a while ago. I've seen the galas, other people posting, and me personally, I have never been a victim of domestic violence. My mother, however, may she rest in peace, was a victim of domestic violence. My biological father abused my mother for a very, very, very long time, both physical and emotional abuse. Although I was a baby when it happened, he passed when I was 1, and they had been together, obviously, years before that. My mother was very open and honest about her story with my father. And she was very open and honest with all of her daughters for, obviously, for a very important reason, because she didn't want any of us to go through what she went through with our father. Mm-hmm. And so through her experience, I was able to learn the red flags, and I was able to steer away from anything that looked remotely close to what my mom described as her relationship with my father. A very jealous man, a very controlling man. My mother was an executive assistant for 20 years until she met my father. She had to stop working because he wanted her home, and she wasn't even able to go to like the movie theaters with her sisters, and it was to that extent. And again, hearing her experience for a long time traumatized me as a child. I would just be scared if I heard any kind of argument between a husband and wife, whether it was family, whether it was friends. It just was bringing back all these thoughts of these images of what my mom described. Mm-hmm. And it shaped me. It shaped me to never want to have to suffer the way my mom did, because even after all of the years that he was passed away, she still lived with that. And it just brought her self-esteem just so low, even though she was able to find love after my stepfather took us, all 6 of us in, raised all 6 of us, and loved my mother unconditionally, never touched her, never yelled at her, just very nurturing. But for so long, it took her such a long time to be open to that, right? And now that I know what I know now, it's because her heart chakra was closed for all of those years. And she never knew how to do the work, the healing work, to allow someone to love her the way she deserved to be loved. You go through it for so much, and these were her words. You believe you deserve it.
Yeah.
Yep. And I knew there could never be a way for her to deserve it, because she was such an amazing woman and such an amazing mother. So I just knew that those thoughts were just her trauma. And yep. So that's my story with domestic violence. Like I said, I've been lucky enough that I took her experiences and kind of and let it shape me. So it's hard when I hear people say, you have to let them learn through their own experience. Not really, not with certain things. This is something that, if you can help prevent it, like what my mom did, which was being open about it. I feel like maybe if she wasn't so open with us, that maybe I would have ended up in an abusive relationship. But because she was open enough with us, it helped me stay away from people that I knew weren't deserving of me.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's for all of us, right? I think all of us get to a place where we're just like, it's like what you see in front of you is kind of sometimes what does shape you. Because if I got raised in a household that, alcoholism was like constant, and I saw the drinking and drinking, and I knew how miserable it made me feel, I'm going to make sure that when I get older, that's not the type of situation or surrounding that I have. So domestic violence is no different from that.
Right.
I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and they said to me, they said that they watch my show, right? They're like, I've heard so many people say that they've gotten so much information in the past 2 years from your shows, and it's so helpful. But do you really think domestic violence will ever stop? Was the question. And they were like, it's a shame. I watch videos constantly, and that's all I see. I see it on World Star. I see it on the internet. I see it on social media. Domestic violence is something that I see and have seen for years. Like, do you really think it'll ever stop? And I couldn't give a realistic answer to that, because we work hard as an organization to make sure that we're spreading the word, we're spreading positivity, we're there for victims whenever they need, the services, we're responding to intake calls and emails and text messages. And I can't say that me by myself, like I'm an army of one. I'm really an army of one. I answer emails, text messages, phone calls. I'm an army of one. I can't say that me by myself will stop it. But there is an entire vast city that if we work together, I feel we can end a lot of it. I am Christina. I'm Love Shouldn't Hurt. But there's Joanna. She's Women Against Abuse. There's different people at Congreso, at Concilio, at the different, Latina
Right.
Domestic Violence Network, the Victim Witnesses Network. I think that what we're doing is like what you're doing. You're constantly promoting healthy living, feeling better, working on oneself, mind, body, and soul. That's what people know you as. When they see Crystal, that's what they know. They know Crystal does holistic healing. She works on mind, body, and soul. When they see me, that's Christina. She wears purple all the time. She's working on people with domestic violence. I think the more that we speak about it, the more that we talk about it, the more that we work on ourselves and make sure that we're positive and we're spreading positivity, we may not ever stop it, because I think that in the world, there are a lot of people who think that what they do is normal. And then, they get raised in societies like with minorities who believe that lo que pasa en su casa se queda en su casa, and I think that I give it up to you for doing what you do, because not a lot of people believe in what I do, right? We saw that last week with the threats that I received to kill me and all this craziness. They don't believe in what I do. A lot of people don't believe in holistic healing. They don't think that it's anything that works. And I'm sure that where I get a lot of pushback on what I do, you might get a lot of pushback too, because people don't believe what you're doing is something that's beneficial to folks. Do you get a lot of people who tell you, like, why do you do this? You could be doing something else. Like,
I get more of, does it work? That's the question. Does what you do work? Right. And I love to say, well, the proof is in the pudding, right? I don't base my what I do off of how my opinion on what I do. I allow my students, my girls who have been a part of this journey, who have decided, because you have to decide first that you want this, that you want to change. It has to start with you. No one can tell you, you need to get into meditation, you should get into this. You have to want it, right? So anybody who comes to me, anybody who joins my retreats, anybody who comes to my meditation classes, 9 out of 10, it's people who are looking to heal. So when I hear or see anyone else passing any kind of judgment that isn't positive, I have learned through working through my meditation and everything, I have just learned to be like a seal where everything kind of just slithers off of me, because everyone's going to have an opinion, right? Everyone is going to have an opinion on anything, whether you're doing good or bad. And there can't be good without bad. It's just the way of life. It can't, where there's light, there's dark. So like what they asked, the question that they ask you, do you think it's going to ever stop? Sadly, it's probably not, because again, where there's light, there's dark, but that's where we have to find the balance. And like what you said, there's all of these resources out there that a lot of women don't know about, honestly. A lot of people are just, they're just not aware that there are resources and things to help them cope with that other than straight to medication, right? Like I'm not opposed to medication. However, obviously as a holistic healer, I would like for people to try a natural way before, because what happens, what we do when we take medication, it masks the pain is all it does. It doesn't fix the problem. It puts you in a temporary state where you don't feel that pain. You're never healing from it. You're never healing from it. It's kind of like once the medicine is off, wears off, the light switches back on, and now you see all of the, the BS that was there before you took the medication. So you're not actually healing from it. And when I decided finally that I was like, this is the time to reach out to you. I knew it was meant, because I'm a big firm believer that nothing happens coincidentally. Everything happens for a reason. And once you start becoming in tune with yourself, and it's kind of like a spiritual awakening, you'll start to see that, God or whomever, you decide to call your source, everybody has their own opinion on, who their higher power is. Once you start doing that, the universe kind of works for you to put you in alignment with the right people. And one of my dearest and bestest friends, she actually said, have you met Christina? Like, she's like, I've been following her, and she's just beautiful, and and I watch her shows and I learn a lot, and shout out to Xiomara, my baby. But she said, you should definitely reach out, which was no coincidence. It was already on the radar because of what you do. I just felt like it was in alignment with what I do. We want to help women. We want to help, I want to help people, not just women, because I do classes. My classes are co-ed. I've only done women's retreats. But you want to help people heal. And there is no way out, or they don't have a way out. So that's basically how I got to where I'm at right now.
So what I want you to do is, you started doing something at Concilio with kids. Was it with kids or women?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you're doing at Concilio?
Concilio and I have paired up. I had introduced my BU wellness program. So my company is Beautifully Balanced, but I created a program called BU Wellness Program, where I offered holistic healing. It started off for employees of companies. Due to the pandemic, there were just so many people that were going through depression and anxiety, and therapist office were like 6 to 7 months, maybe longer, like a wait for people to actually be able to see a therapist. Yeah. So in that, I'm like, there's got to be something that, they can help these people get through this tough time that the world was kind of going through. So I created the program initially for employees. And once again, I had already in the back of my mind that I had wanted to extend it to children at some point. But when I met with Janessa over at Concilio, we were kind of like on the same page. And she's like, I have a couple programs that I think would work great with what you're offering. So I partnered with Concilio for the Entre Mujeres program. And the Entre Mujeres program is a Latina-based program that they have actually in a couple different states, not just Philadelphia. It's a pilot program going on in Philadelphia, and Concilio is the one that's actually running it right now. Shout out to Wilma from Concilio. She's such a sweetheart. So we basically came together, and it's like a 6-week module that they have. And each module with the girls, ages from 13 years old to 19 years old, the program is basically to help empower young women, Latina women, which I think is so needed, and it is an amazing program. And we've taught them from everything from finances, entrepreneurship. I did a module on self-love, self-care, taught the girls all about loving themselves first before running out into the world trying to find love, right? Whole being whole as a person. teaching them about hygiene, teaching them about making sure that they're, getting checked up on as they get older, making sure that they know how to do their self, their tests, for breast cancer and things like that. These are things that are so important for these young
Yeah.
women who may not always have that leadership at home. And not to
Yeah.
say that's because mom can't do it. Maybe mom's working, a lot,
Yeah.
and maybe mom is mom and dad, or maybe dad is mom and dad, and they just don't
Mhm.
have that just that leader, like just someone mentoring them on how to grow up as a Latina woman in the United States, and especially in Philadelphia, where the odds may seem to be more against us.
Mhm.
Um, and then the second program that I partnered up with them was for the children. I think I do two schools right now. I'm at Memphis Street School, and I'm at Hopkinson School, and I teach meditation classes. I teach the kids about holistic healing. I fell in love with these kids, like and introducing them to this life. It just showed me how much it's neat young age.
Mhm.
And my big thing is, I may not be able to change everybody in the world, but if I
Mhm.
have 10 students there and I've touched one, I've done my job.
Mhm. Yeah.
Changing one person's life is fulfillment for me. So if I have 5 kids, if I have 5 kids telling me, Miss Crystal, I love this class, and they can't wait till the next one, then I know
Yeah.
that I'm fulfilling my purpose here.
Mhm.
And then the
Absolutely.
last program actually I'm doing with Concilio
Mhm.
is called Operation Sanctuary, a
Mhm.
safe place for people to come have group with me, and to talk about trauma, any kind of trauma. I'm doing what I do in every other um, personable, because I'm very open with the trauma that I have gone through in my life, because I'm
Mhm.
a big believer that my story, and just like your story, can help shape someone else's life,
Mhm.
change someone else's life. So I'm very vocal about all of the trauma that I've gone through since a little girl. And I found that it is the best way to help people, because they resonate with you, they connect with you, and
Yeah.
they're not just looking at somebody with who's never lived in North Philadelphia or anything. They're looking at somebody that looks like them, that's
Mhm.
that they can relate to and feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Awesome. So
Yep.
we have another video. We're going to show that video. We're going to come back and give our opinions on that video. And then before we close out, Crystal, we always do a closing thought. So don't freak out. This time when I leave, it's not because they kicked me out. I'm leaving because I'm choosing to. I'm going to leave the screen and you'll be on the screen by yourself and you're going to give us your closing thought. After your thoughts, opinions, and you'll talk about anything you want, what you know about holistic healing, anything you want just to close it out. It's just your closing thought. Please let people know where they can find you on social media. They can look at your social media for your retreats and everything that you do. So make sure you tap into that. But Ray, let's have that video.
Maybe right now your journey isn't about love. Maybe right now your journey is about you. Maybe this is a season you're being challenged to be your own savior, to be your own safe place. Maybe right now you're being reminded that the people who walked away were only ever leading you back to yourself, were only ever leading you here. And here, you're okay on your own. You're rebuilding. Here, you're adapting and mending and reclaiming all of the pieces you let them walk away with. Here, you are being kinder to your soul. You are giving yourself the same kind of love you have always given to others. Here, you are not rushing your heart. You are not depending on another human being to fix it. Instead, here, you are doing that on your own. Here, you are healing.
Awesome. So I'm going to leave you so you can give us your final thought, your opinions on tonight, and just anything you want them to know. But remember to drop your social media so that people can follow you.
Got it. Well, I want to say thank you first to Christina for having me on the show. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I love what you do. I respect it. And again, thank you for having me on here. I want to leave everybody with this. It could be a scary thing introducing yourself to something new. I didn't grow up in an environment where meditation was that was talked about in our home. I grew up in an environment where there was a lot of screaming, where there was a lot of chaos, a lot of violence in my life. And I stand today living proof that nothing in this world that we go through, we can't heal from. You just have to channel all of that pain that you have and turn it into positivity. Protecting your peace, protecting your energy is just so important in this world that we live in today, because there's so much negative energy around us that it's easy for us to fall into that and get tugged into it. Just like, positive attracts positive, negative will attract negative. So it's up to us to protect our energy and to protect ourselves. And that sometimes means we have to let people go that we love or we've loved for years. Doesn't mean that we love them any less. It just means that we love ourselves more. And that's okay. And I just want to leave everybody with that message to love yourself first and know that it is okay to love yourself and know that it is okay to want to heal yourself and to want to get through the things that you've been through.
So how can they find you on social media? Where do they look?
So you can find me on social. So you can find me on social media. I am at Beautifully Balanced _ is my Instagram, and it is spelled BEYOUTIFULLY. Specifically BU, because the whole thing about my business is that so you remain yourself. You get to be you. You balance yourself, but you never lose who you are. You get to be you. I also have Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. My website is www.beautifullybalance.shop, not .com, .shop. I also sell crystals. I sell accessories. I sell T-shirts. I sell sweaters, things like that. That's just like the little back end of my business. But you can also find on my site and on my social media, every time I post up a retreat, every time I post up my classes, I promote it on social media. I do have a yoga retreat on May 14th. I have a yoga instructor coming out. I also cater, so I always cater my events, and that's coming up May 14th for those who are interested, and anybody interested at all in just at least getting to know a little bit about more about meditation. Feel free to DM me, send me a message. You can also contact me at beautifullybalanceddllc@gmail.com.
Ooh, awesome. So I'm going to go to the back. I'm going to give my final thoughts and some reminders, and then we'll be back to say goodbye. Good evening, mi gente. Listen, I want to say I'm sorry because we had some serious technical difficulties this evening. We did not think that would happen, pero cuando uno está en vivo, you got to just go with the punches. So I apologize. I hope that you guys have taken a lot of information from this evening. Please look up Miss Crystal Vargas so that you can see the different things that she does. She has an amazing women's retreat. She has these things for the kids. It's not just for women. She deals with men as well. So follow her on social media, Instagram, Facebook, her website. Look for her so that you can find out what she does. Folks, the main topic that I want you to take from this evening always, always, always is the same. You see that right there? Love. Love on yourself. Find the worth in yourself. Find the beauty in yourself. Love what you see in that mirror, because listen, si el mundo te deja solo, tú todavía te queda con usted. You stay with yourself. So make sure that when you're looking in that mirror, you're loving yourself. It doesn't matter how arrogant or how bad you come off to other people. I need you all to love you. I need you to wake up in the morning, take those positive Post-its, stick it on your mirror. Give yourself positivity. Feed it back to yourself. We give so much of that to everyone else. I call you beautiful. I call you amazing. You're magnificent. Look at yourself in the mirror and do exactly that to yourself. Sometimes we look for it through other people. We're looking for other people to fill those voids. We don't need to, as long as we see it in ourselves. If you can wake up every day and say, I'm amazing, that's all the excitement and the love and you need somebody to reciprocate it, give it to yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself. Have a whole conversation with yourself in the morning. People, I love you, Christina. Christina loves you too. I sound crazy, but I'm not. We always focus on giving our love and our energy to everybody else. And sadly, sometimes we give it to the people who do not merit that from us. They don't appreciate it. They don't reciprocate it. But if you always give it to yourself, you can be damn rest assured you're going to feel the love back. So give that to yourself. Reminder, folks, May 14th is our 5K. Join us at Edison High School. If you have not sent in payment, please do so. It says on the flyer we have 2 ways to pay, but now we have 3. If you want to find out my information for Zelle, please inbox me. I will give you that info. At Venmo, you can get us at LSH, which is Love Shouldn't Hurt _Philly. Cash App is Love Shouldn't Hurt LLC. Please, please make your payments, folks. I'm not trying to be annoying, but we want to make sure, because I know all of you want that bling. Every time I do something, they say, is there a bling? Do we get medals at the end? You will if you pay in advance so that I know how many people are coming. I don't want to be a nuisance, but I want to make sure that every single person there gets a medal at the end, because this beautiful lady right there on the screen, it is in memory of her. It is in honor of her. Love Shouldn't Hurt would not be in existence if it wasn't for Linda Jeannie Rios. Woo, I get emotional, but reminder, folks, that my organization is and always will be in memory of Linda. We are coming out to that race on Saturday, May 14th, so that we can honor not only Linda and her memory, but all of those loved ones that we have lost. And if you are a survivor or a previous victim or even a victim who is dealing with domestic violence, it is a day to just collaborate with other folks, to sit and just feel loved by everyone around you. Get that hug, meet me in person, and let me tell you to your face how phenomenal I know you are. So please come out on May 14th. My DJ Paulie, as always, will be there on the mix. If you went last year, you know the music was hype and he was getting you across. It was freezing. This time it's not going to be cold. So I won't be jumping up and down like a lunatic. I might be, because that's just what I do. Come out and join us. We have vendors, we have tables, we have things for the kids. But all in all, we are going to support and stand together in unity against domestic violence. So come on May 14th, and remember that number scrolling across the screen, 1-800-799-7233. Mi gente, join us next Tuesday. We hope to not have the same technical difficulties, but we will be having, guess what? A men's roundtable. We're going to have a bunch of men on this screen, and they're going to talk to you about domestic violence. I'm excited to hear what they have to say. We have done men's versions before, but this one will be amazing. So join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. with the men's roundtable on here. Love Shouldn't Hurt. Let's bring Crystal back so we can say goodnight. Crystal, I hope you had a good time with us. I'm sorry
I had
that
an amazing time. No worries at all. It didn't matter. It was awesome.
Awesome. Come back and join us another day. We will have more
Absolutely.
discussions. We welcome you to join us. I hope that people follow you. If you're on here, follow this pretty lady. See what she does and get yourself some healing, folks, because we all need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ray wants us to know that he is great as well. He is.
Yeah.
He jumped on right when I fell off. He was right in there. That's why he's my boy, and he is our #1 supporter. So we appreciate you too, Ray. He's sitting over there. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday. Good night, everybody.